Any questions about Gigi or about Lerner-in-Low or any of what we've talked about today? Yes, ma'am?
What portion of the film was made in Hollywood?
It's almost a 50-50 deal in the end. Remember, too, a lot of things had to be re-edited and played with, so they were able to keep a good number of Parisian location shots and at the same time augment it with what was done in Hollywood. All of the interiors were done in Hollywood. The actual constructed sets were there, and they had always planned it that way. It's just certain external shots that they wanted to do in Hollywood suddenly had to be done either with process shots or using some kind of a set. A lot of the title song, for example, keeps, you pop between streets of Paris, the gardens of Versailles, and the back lot at MGM from second to second. It all depends on the camera angle. Yes, ma'am?
You didn't tell us anything about Hermione Gingold.
Oh, and I don't want to leave out Hermione. Hermione Gingold was the most unlikely of musical film stars. She really only starred in 2 major musical films, this and The Music Man. Sang and won praise in both. If any of you were not, my students know her because of these films. The Jack Parr Show, and on any other talk show, she was one of the most witty raconteurs alive. And if you ever saw her club act, she was downright bawdy and had no trouble doing a slightly off-color joke. I saw her in her last live appearance in New York. She took over as the narrator of the long-running review Side by Side by Sondheim. And she was well on in years at that point, but still very capable of handling an audience. And she spent the entire performance sipping from a very large, clear glass of liquid. Partway through the afternoon, she said, "I know what some of you are going to do. You're going to go home and tell all your friends you spent the afternoon watching Hermione Gingold sipping gin. Oh, how wrong you would be. This isn't gin, darlings, it's vodka." At one point after the show-stopping performance given by the singers, she turned and said, "Oh, I know that after all this Sondheim, you're just going to run out and grab your hot tickets to Shenandoah." It was so unlikely and off the wall that the audience just loved her. She had an interesting time working on this film. In her autobiography, she said that she barely got to know Chevalier. He was a very private man and had, as we discussed last month, his demons. But she asked him at one point, "Tell me, Maurice, when did love end for you?" He said, "About 2 o'clock last night." She said, "And I realized he wasn't joking."